Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Balanced Build podcast, where we talk about fitness, mindset, habit creation, etc., and in a chill way. My name is Lizzie. Nice to meet you. So, whether you are just starting out your health and fitness life, you've taken a break, or you may want to start something new outside your comfort zone, or you're not sure what you want to do yet, today we're talking about just getting started and doing it scrappy. I'm recording this on the mic that I've been using to film classes for my upcoming yoga and fitness membership because I haven't gotten a podcast mic yet. But in the spirit of doing it scrappy, we're just going to roll with it today. My apologies if you hear random noises like my cat. Okay, this topic and a little challenge I'll be talking about at the end came up yesterday because I finished my very first 5K. It was awesome. The weather was perfect. My body held up pretty well through the course, and it felt so good to reach that goal. And I absolutely broke down crying after I crossed the finish line. But here's the thing, I did it scrappy, without a training plan, because even the beginner ones were all too challenging, and my body doesn't operate that way anymore. And I'll share a little bit about this and then get into today's topic, which isn't running specific, but the sentiment ties in quite nicely. So, 2.5 years ago, there was an accident, and I sustained too many injuries to list here, but the two biggest were a broken left hip that required surgery and a bulge in my spine that pinches a nerve. I get treatments for the nerve pain, but there are nerve issues and damage that, affect basically kind of affect some neuromuscular function. The pathway starts at my low back, down the left glute, leg, and down to the toes. Basically, that part of my body doesn't operate the way it was originally intended. So it makes traditional training pretty difficult in that I have some of the classic nerve issue stuff, like my I have way lower endurance now. Stability is a struggle, and the ability of my leg, it varies wildly from day to day, throughout the day, whatever. And so I approach movement and exercise by just kind of feeling where my body's at that day. And then I determine what's available and how far to push safely. And this can look like only getting necessary errands or chores done so that I have energy to exercise and vice versa. But what I've really come to, I guess you'd say, appreciate about this is how far I've come in terms of just loving my body anyway. It's doing its best with the cards it's been dealt. When I started getting serious about wanting to learn how to run late last August, I could maybe run like 20 seconds at a time before needing a walk break. And it felt amazing and awful and hard. But I kept trying to see what would happen and how this might change. I couldn't follow a plan for all the reasons I mentioned, but I could explore. I could learn about different techniques and about proper form, etc., taking what I taking what I could apply to myself at each phase of, training, of progression, and leave the rest for maybe future me or maybe never. I tried to keep my thoughts about my body's ability as neutral as possible to help keep, just negative thoughts or frustration at bay. And I'm only human. The key word here is try. But very gradually, I started to build up that time and some distance. And in no way was it linear, but taking those small steps, so small, they don't feel like they quote unquote count. they added up over time. So, what I want to share is that regardless of what you've got going on in your life and body, is that we can start scrappy. It doesn't have to look like anyone's plan right now. If you're struggling to get started with whatever it is you want, just dip a toe in the water and get curious and just see what happens. Now, I want to be clear though that I'm not at all saying that programs are unnecessary for goals that you want to set. Not at all. It's just that sometimes we get it in our heads that that's the only way to get started in creating the habit and to improve our health. Sometimes when we are getting ready to start, we may find ourselves looking around for like the perfect or the most appealing program or activity or whatever. But here's the thing, there is no such thing as perfect, and you won't know whether you like it until you actually try it. So if you've been trying to decide what program or form of fitness you want to, commit to maybe, in the meantime, maybe instead just start with exploring. Explore different ways of movement and don't feel obligated to stick to any one thing right now or ever. You can just start by being more active around the house. Cleaning is awesome for this, and a twofer, which we love for us. And I just getting outside more, going for walks or hikes. If you're like me and you get bored and almost need variety to stay engaged and consistent, try what sounds good or interesting. Try a class, something new. Again, just stay curious, about whether it's something you'd like to try again, even if you suck at it. In terms of just adding movement, it could be dancing around the living room in your underwear for all I care. Just do it, Strappy. It's fine. Getting in the habit of taking consistent action while not beating yourself up about what you aren't doing in some perfectionist way is kind of everything. It frees you up to get creative and find enjoyment in physical activity, whatever it is, for you. Becoming even a little more consistent is an absolute win. All or nothing thinking is not. And it can absolutely lead to feeling of defeat, failure, guilt, shame, and all that unnecessary, stressful garbage. Especially if you struggle with time, you can get started creating this habit by just intentionally adding movement throughout the day, whether it's just for right now or not. And as you create the habit, you'll know when you're ready to set a goal or dive deeper into a specific area of fitness. Just trust yourself. And this is a topic for a whole other episode, but you are in charge. I heard this phrase. This is so good. It cracked me up. It was a perfectionist fantasy, and I thought it was so amazing. Try not to let this perfectionist fantasy or the comparison of how others do fitness, whether it's people you know in real life or on social media, don't let them take that power away. It can be so easy to do, but we can work on our own confidence and empowerment through consistently trying and choosing on purpose to engage in physical activity, whatever or however that means to you. This is the healthier future you were talking about, not some random bro on Instagram. And yes, comparison will definitely be in a future episode, no doubt. And, you know, the type of exercise or recovery I engage in depends on how my body is feeling that day. And man, that's okay. Sometimes I feel stagnant, but Overall, I'm still progressing and improving my health and fitness, and to some degree, I very well may be doing it scrappy the rest of my life. But instead of being sad or beating myself up about how I need to or am able to approach fitness, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to try and to play around. This is absolutely not the case for everyone listening, but if you are in a different body now, whether it's due to injury, illness, good old fashioned aging, it's especially awesome to explore and connect with our bodies as they change, building a compassionate relationship and take nothing for granted. And also, you don't need to be good at something to get a great workout. You just need to show up, do what you can, learn about your body. The rest will come. You are in charge. Okay, I say all this to say that I'm starting a free Doing It Scrappy challenge in my free Balanced Build Facebook group. It's an inclusive place for you to share wins, struggles, questions, accountability, and above all, support. From now until the end of May 2023, I'll be sharing with you how I'm doing at Scrappy, along with tips, ideas, and mindset hacks as they come up. If you can't find the group when you search on Facebook, the link will be in the show notes. And please know that you don't have to be participating in this challenge to join the group. You can still absolutely engage with what's going on there. Please join us, and I'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening. You can find me on Instagram at The Balance Build. My website is thebalancedbuild.offeringtree.com. I'm still building it, but you guessed it, we're doing it scrappy. All right, we'll talk again soon, and hopefully I'll see you in the Facebook group. Take care and happy training.